What's up guys, Wawa here, and I'm back with part 2 of the series of videos that I will be uploading, which actually focuses on character classes for the Diablo 3 game and the Diablo 3 beta as well. So right now it is only level capped to 13, so I'm going to be showing to you guys what skills are available up to level 13, and these skills most likely will be the same once the game comes out. So this part 2 is going to be focusing on the wizard. So we have our lady wizard right here. Her name's Arya. Nice. Say hello, ladies and gentlemen. And she's going to show us what she can do. Primary skills, again, we are going to be starting with all of the primary skills first. Magic Missile is the first skill that you have. Cast a bolt of arcane energy towards a target. Very, very basic skill to have. Just direct, blunt to the point. Nothing really flashy right there. It's pretty much like a purple comment, direct to the path, no hassle at all. I don't should have just focused on just spamming, but anyways, here we go, spamming all. It's really easy, really fast to cast. It doesn't cost any mana at all. Well, basically on this time for the wizard, it's called arcane power. We don't really need arcane power to use magic missile. So this is pretty much one of those skills that you can spam. Basically all the primary skills that you have right now, you can basically spam as much as you want. The first rune that is available for the magic missile is called Charge Blast. It increases the damage of magic missile. So basically it's going to be pretty much the same thing, but it just does a lot more damage. So again, basically guys, if you guys haven't noticed yet why there are always cooldowns whenever you're re-equipping equipment, actually, I'm not really sure, but most likely it's because of PvP control or your skill control, I guess. Like, for example, you can just switch around all your skills at the same time, like loop them all at once so you can spam them, which is kind of sad, but then again, it's kind of like a balancing issue as well, where they have to balance things out, which I'm pretty sure I can understand, because if you guys were able to see the early stages of the beta, it was actually pretty bad for the monsters. Like, everyone was just too good. So here we go, it's pretty much the same thing. It's a little bit bigger, I guess. You can, if you guys can notice, yeah, the thing is pretty much bigger and it just does more damage. It's actually really basic, but I actually like it. It just does what it's supposed to do. No bullshit, I guess, or whatever. Just go straight to the point, straight to the attacker, or straight to the opponent. Yep, straight path, no hassle at all. The second one the second rune available to it is actually available also in the beta, which is called a split. It means fires multiple missiles with each attack. Blah, pardon my English, ladies and gentlemen. So basically this pretty much is almost the same thing, but it does just split up all your missiles. Like here, right here, you guys can see magic missile split into 3. The weird thing with this is that it's not consistently just attacking, or it's not like those magic missiles, they don't go out in the same path, I guess. Which I guess it adds a little bit more depth to the character. Like, it gives more personality to the character, that he can't really spam all those 3 like in one focus area, I guess, or one path all the time. It adds more randomness to the character, which is actually pretty awesome. Adds more depth, adds more personality. Look at that. As you guys can notice, like this one, that's kind of like they're flying really close to each other, but sometimes they are spread out really fast, real quick, which is actually pretty good, and they do a lot of damage. Yes, they do. They do a little less damage though compared to the Charge Blast one, but still they're pretty useful. If you can have all those 3 bolts attack one opponent, it's gonna do pretty much almost the same damage. The next one we have right now is primary, in the primary area, it's called Shock Pulse. Release burst of uncontrollable electricity across the ground. This is one of those flashy skills that the wizard has already in the early stages, and it's actually really useful, actually, if you think about it. As you guys can see, very stylish. No problem, right? Like, this is all pretty much what wizard is right now. It's just eye candy and such. Just do so much damage, and ironically, these are carrion bats that carry electrical properties. They still do take damage. Very basic stuff. they do, yeah, it really does a lot of damage. As you guys can see, just really instantly kills off blue opponents, elite opponents right there. But again, that's also pretty much my level, I guess, is pretty much a factor as well, why I can kill all those opponents. But yeah, that's pretty much the basic stuff with shock pulse. The stock type of shock pulse. We have first rune available for us right now, explosive volts. It means slain enemies explode and slain enemies explode and electrocute nearby enemies. So if ever your opponent or one of the opponents dies because of that ability, they will explode, and there's a good chance that they're gonna be able to electrify other opponents as well. Unfortunately, in this scenario right there, everyone just explodes, so we can't really see if anyone else is gonna get electrocuted as well. One of the downside, I guess, of this shock pulse is that the pathing again is not consistent, and it's not really straight to the point, or it's not really one. It doesn't really go in a specific direction, I guess, when you call it. But you do see though that the zombies do explode, so most likely that whenever there's some opponents over there, they are gonna do some damage. The last skill that we have for the primary, available to us at least, there's another one right here. It's called Electrocute. Looks pretty fancy. Can't wait to play it. So we have Spectral Blade right here. Summon mystic blades that slice through enemies. It's one of those close range skill, because I believe that what Blizzard is going for right now is they want a melee mage as well. So this must be one of those skills where your mage or your wizard can do that. As you guys can see right here, it's really flashy. It's like you're like a samurai doing a gazillion slices in 1 second. Ah, unfortunately the range is really close. Can't understand it though. Does a lot of damage. It does more than one slice, so it can hit your opponent more than once every time you cast it. Very useful stuff, and it's actually pretty good for AoE as well, especially if you have a very good set of armor and your wizard can take a lot of damage. And I think that's it. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's pretty much it for our primary skills. Let's go on to the secondary skills right now. Our first skill right here is called Ray of Frost. Channel beam of pure cold, chilling your enemies. So it's pretty much like Iceman, an Iceman skill right here, where you can just focus fire like that. It's an ice beam, basically an ice beam. It does damage, and it also slows down your opponents whenever whenever you're spraying them for a long time, it slows them. Oh, look at that! The guy came out of nowhere. But yeah, there's a good chance that your opponent will freeze for a long period or for a few seconds whenever you're casting this skill towards them. As we can see right there, look at that, he's slowly moving right now. It wasn't moving as fast as before. So yeah, very useful skill to have. Very basic stuff. Unfortunately, it only fires in one area, so it can only focus on a small amount of units at a time. We do have an increase or a rune upgrade right here for Ray of Frost, which is called Numb. Increase the amount target's movement is slowed. So basically it's the same thing, but yeah, it just basically adds more time, or it basically delays your opponents a little bit longer, which I'm not really complaining about. Maybe this is actually a good evidence right here. Like, look at that, your opponents cannot even get close to you anymore. And I think they also consume the same amount of mana, so that's actually really not bad. Does a lot of damage, and it doesn't really consume as much mana as well. Like if you guys saw earlier, I was like spamming it for like a good 10 seconds. Let's try right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's more than 10 seconds basically, unless my timer is a little bit faster, which it usually is. Unfortunately, I'm not really good with clocks or whatever you call it. Anyways, moving on to the next skill, we have the Arcane Orb. Cast an orb with pure arcane energy that explodes on contact. This is one of those useful skills that just does instant heavy damage and does pushbacks, does explosions and such. It's really flashy as well. It's really basic though. So here we go. Show it to you guys. Boom! Instant 50 damage right there, and that's pretty much one of the only skills that does 50 damage in this game, I believe. Really awesome stuff. Look at that, all of them just die with just one pulse. It does consume a lot of mana though, so you need to be a little bit careful about that. You don't want to spam it all over and over and over again. Excuse me, arcane power. It's not mana, arcane power. It's still one of those skills that you really want to have in your skill slot, because they are pretty good, especially in emergencies and such. Like when you get surrounded, you can easily clear up a path, just killing off all those units, all of the opponents. Let's try to skip this right now. Like, I want to keep this video at least around 15 minutes, not 20 or so like the first video. Next up, we do have actually a rune available for the Arcane Orb, which is called Obliteration. Increase the damage of Arcane Orb. It's basically pretty much the same thing, self-explanatory right there, but it just does more damage, which I'm not really complaining about. So instead of seeing 50 damage, how much are we gonna see? 76 damage right there, guys. So that's very good. 60 damage as well. So it's not really that bad. It's not really a lot more damage, but it's still extra damage, and I'm not really complaining. It doesn't really consume more mana. I don't believe it consumes more mana than just stock Arcane Orb, so I'm not really complaining about that. So extra damage is always good. And that's pretty much it for the Arcane Orb. There's more skill runes available for it, but we are not gonna be able to see them. That's one of the reasons why I can't wait for this game anymore. I wish this game would come out soon. Arcane Torrent is one of the skills as well, where you can just spam, unless of course you are indeed lacking in energy. Unfortunately, I think I'm about to have a little bit of edit right here. I'll be right back, guys, as we need to go back to Tristram right now. Alright guys, I am back. Sorry about that. I had to edit it out a little bit because, you know, we want to continue on with just showing off the skills and none of the storyline. I'm pretty sure you guys already saw that with other YouTubers. I just want to show you guys what the skills are actually look like. So we have the Arcane Torrent right now. So this is pretty much like magic missiles right here. Very basic stuff. It's like you're summoning. It's like that game from I forgot already. Like there's an old game, 2D game, which looks like it's like this. You're summoning a lot of stuff. Space Invaders? I don't think it's Space Invaders though. But yeah, it's a really flashy skill. I don't think it does a lot of damage though. It's one of those skills that doesn't really do a lot of damage. For me at least, or for my eyes, it doesn't really do that much damage, and it's actually a channeling skill as well. Because for me, I prefer those skills that does instant damage, where you don't need to spam, or yeah, you don't have to stand for a long time in one spot to just do the damage that you want to do. Because basically this does 17 damage, or right now it does 18 or 15 to 20 damage with one missile, even though it only consumes like barely any energy. I would rather use like the Arcane Orb rather than this, because I hate channeling skills. Really hate them. Anyways, that's it for the Arcane Torrent. I don't think, yeah, we don't have any runes available for the Arcane Torrent, unfortunately. So we move on to the defensive skills. First off, we have the Frost Nova. Blast nearby enemies and freeze them in place. So very self-explanatory again here. I will show you guys right now what it looks like. Yeah, very nice. There's a long cooldown for this skill though, which is kind of sad. If you can just shorten that like cooldown for like 5 seconds, that would be pretty awesome. Because it does what it does: freeze opponents. Look at that, very cool stuff right there. And then you can just finish them off with whatever skills you have as well. So it does what it does, freezes up opponents and such. Let's see right here. Yeah, look at that. All of those guys are dead already. I don't think it does any damage though, so that's one of the downsides of this skill. But still, though, freezing your opponents, and like there's so much potential with that, and that's one of those skills that you would actually want to have in your arsenal. We actually have one rune slot right here for Frost Nova, which is called Shatter. A frozen enemy has a chance of releasing an additional Frost Nova when killed. So it's basically another chain ability, I guess. Like once the opponent is frozen and then they die, they're gonna release another, like for example, Frost Nova attack again, I guess, or a mini one, which unleashes or releases the chance of freezing other opponents. Right here, let's try to kill off some opponents right here. Wasn't able to kill off any opponents. Anyways, I'm just gonna try to show you guys how it actually works. Right now I'm just waiting for the cooldown. Cooldown, come on. Okay, Frost Nova. Alright. Kill them off. Alright. Yeah, there you go. You guys saw that, like some of the other opponents also got frozen after the initial frozen new characters died and they exploded and releases Frost Nova. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that skill right there. Next skill we have is Diamond Skin. Transform your skin to diamonds, temporarily absorbing all damage. This is a baller skill. Really awesome. Let's try to see if we can take some damage here for now from these opponents. Then we're gonna use that skill. There you go. As you guys can see, that's the diamond skin right there. I'm absorbing pretty much all their damage. They don't really do that much damage, but anyways, I am absorbing all their damage. They didn't take any damage at all. That's one of the defensive skills that's actually really useful, and also one of the skills that's really useful if you want to go for a melee wizard if it happens. Anyways, next, I don't think we do have any attachment to that, so I'm just gonna go to the next one, which is called Wave of Force. Command the elements to damage and knock back enemies and projectiles. So that skill is basically the force. So if you guys remember what the skill is for the Witch Doctor in this area, it's called Terror. Now we have the force. So I'm gonna show you guys right now. There you go. That's pretty much what the Wave of Force does. Really awesome stuff. It does a lot of damage and it does knockback skills. It does knockback as well. So yeah, very helpful skill. Very awesome skill to have. This is one of the things why Wizard is pretty baller and can easily farm all over. Is because of all those awesome skills, AoE skills, splash skills and such. Really awesome stuff. I'm just waiting to see if we have one more force skill available for us while I clear these guys out. Yeah, let's see. Yes, we do have Energy Twister. Release a raging tornado that wreaks havoc across the battlefield. So a flashy skill right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you guys that in 1 second. You guys saw that? You guys saw that? Look at that. He's even dragging the body away. That's pretty baller. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much the what do you call it? Energy Twister. Does a good amount of damage. You don't need to channel it, you can make more of it at the same time actually as well. It does take a lot of energy though, and it doesn't go to a straight path, so you need to be careful when you're casting it because it does consume energy, and you want to be careful because you might run out of energy soon. And I think that's it for all our offensive skills right now. Let me just kill those real quick. Now to focus on some passive skills real quick. So basically, when you get the ability to use a passive skill, I think it's gonna be around level 10 or so. You are able to choose from 2 initial passive skills. First off, we have Blur. Basically decreases melee damage taken by 20%. That's actually really good, especially for a wizard character. Really helpful because your wizard is definitely not as hard as a barbarian or a monk. Then we do have Power Hungry. Gain 30 arcane power whenever you are healed by a health goal, which is actually also a big plus because you do run out of arcane power really quickly, and you want to change that, and getting Power Hungry is really good. So if you're lucky, and if you're lucky, you get a lot of health globes, and if you really just want to spam a lot of arcane focus skills, just equip Power Hungry. Then we do have Evocation. It reduces all cooldowns by 15%. It's really, really useful stuff. So what's Arcane Power without with the cooldown being like 30 seconds, so you can't really be power hungry and such. So you're gonna need Evocation to lessen that cooldown a little bit. And that's pretty much it for our focus on the wizard skills. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, or feedbacks, please do post them down below. And that's pretty much it for me. Hope you guys like this, and I will see you guys in the next video. The next video will be most likely a monk. So yeah, hope you guys are prepared for that, and I will see you guys soon. Peace out. I'm out. Bye.